Yes, yes.
I saw those. No, Rick.
Yeah, everyone's phones off.
Yes. Okay. Welcome.
Where are they in the order?
I wonder if she could also go, let's see, she's a little further down. We could also switch Melissa and Maria. Okay, and have her go last. She said she'll be here in 5 minutes, but I don't know if they want to get started.
We still have 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe Rick, you introduce Melissa.
What's that?
Rick, can you introduce Melissa instead?
Instead of whoever's on there?
There's Maria.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah, so
So it's
Melissa
Melissa.
Elder with Sunrise Movement. Okay?
Most
then-
of the sunrise movement?
Yeah. And then you're going to introduce Maria Mohammed with I Am My Brother's Keeper. Can you remember that?
Yes.
You can? Yeah, let's write that really quick. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, so on the other side?
No, just to get on this one. It's okay. I'm just
Okay.
gonna-
Okay.
Oops. Mohammed?
Yeah. With I Am My Brother's Keeper. Yeah.
Melissa, sunrise movement?
Yeah, Melissa Elder with Sunrise Movement. You want us?
Elder?
Yeah. Got it? Like older. Like elder. Now you won't forget, right?
Elderly.
Elder of the Church of Climate.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Do I turn it on? Let's see. Oh, right here.
I think it's on,
Oh, it's on. Okay.
but we can turn it like as needed.
Okay.
I think it should be good though.
Okay. Great. Testing. Does this sound good? Okay. Okay. So, okay, ready? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I am Malika Marsden, and I am with Climate Action Campaign. Our mission at Climate Action Campaign is simple: stop the climate crisis. We are excited to be here today with community members and partners to release the 4th edition of our San Diego Climate Action Plan report card, where we grade all 18 cities and the county on their progress on climate action. But first, I want to start by acknowledging that we are on the traditional and unceded territory of the Kumeyaay Nation. Today, I pay my respect to the Kumeyaay people, both past and present, and to their continuing relationship to these lands. This past year, the world woke up to the climate crisis as an unprecedented threat to our health and well-being. Millions of people around the world, powered by young leaders, marched in the streets, demanding bolder action. The wildfires left many infuriated by climate delay and denial of elected leaders. US presidential candidates vied for the best plan to fight the crisis. And Oxford Dictionary named climate emergency the 2019 word of the year. Now, let's make 2020 the year we take action and commit to a zero carbon future, which is our best hope to stop the climate crisis and protect the people and places we love. Which brings us to this year's San Diego CAP report card. How is our region doing to fight the climate crisis? First, we want to celebrate some of the progress we have achieved. We now have 8 cities committed to a 100% clean energy future, 10 years ahead of the state, and 8 cities that have formed new nonprofit public power agencies that will bring residents lower rates and cleaner energy. This is historic and unprecedented, and means we are taking control of our energy destiny while putting the community in charge. We congratulate the cities of San Diego, La Mesa, Encinitas, Chula Vista, Imperial Beach, Solana Beach, Del Mar, and Carlsbad for coming together to make these achievements possible. Second, we want to celebrate the cities that have made strides to ensure our most vulnerable communities are the first to benefit from climate solutions. Imperial Beach is prioritizing environmental justice in their newly adopted CAP, and the city of San Diego is leading the way with the creation of a first-in-the-country tool to prioritize equity in climate investments. Third, we want to recognize Carlsbad for adopting the first commitment in the state to begin electrifying buildings, as well as acknowledge La Mesa for how quickly they have put their CAP into action, demonstrating the pace necessary to achieve our climate goals. These are all big wins for our region and are vital to achieving a safe and livable future. However, overall, while we are winning some battles, we are losing the war against the climate crisis. This year, no cities achieved the gold standard for climate action, and that is largely because cities are still struggling to offer real transportation choices that allow families to move around the region without a car. We remain stuck with a car-centric region and have not sufficiently committed to building affordable homes near jobs and transit. As a result, we are driving more miles and our carbon emissions are rising. To add to that, the landmark UN IPCC report tells us that our climate action plan goals, not long ago perceived to be extremely ambitious, are now inadequate to meet the scale and scope of the climate crisis. The UN report tells us that if we are to avoid the worst impacts of the climate crisis, we must achieve zero emissions by 2045. So how do we get there? Our report provides key recommendations to help our region secure a zero carbon future, which includes cities updating their CAPs as soon as possible to commit to zero carbon, as well as state leaders working together to pass state law to achieve zero carbon. We also recommend the creation of a regional climate authority, an authority that would serve to dissolve silos and allow cities to collaborate and strategize, as well as secure regional funding and ensure equitable implementation of climate solutions. Also crucial to a zero carbon future are commitments to electrifying everything, including buildings and transportation, to reduce our third largest source of emissions, natural gas. We also call on our region to acknowledge that cars are continuing to crush our climate goals, and to meaningfully reduce these emissions, we must reject sprawl, build affordable housing near jobs and transit, and invest in a world-class transit system. And lastly, it's beyond time that municipalities take the climate crisis seriously. El Cajon, Santee, and the county refuse to adopt CAPs in good faith, threatening all regional progress. While the path to a zero carbon future will not be easy, the UN report also says it is feasible and only a matter of political will. Today, we urge the region to come together and embrace a shared vision, recognizing that a zero carbon future ultimately means a future with cleaner air, cleaner water, better health, and livable neighborhoods. Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce Rosa Olascuaga with Mid-City CAN.
My name is Rosa Olascuaga Vidal, and I am the community organizer for the Improving Transportation of City Heights, or ITCH team, with Mid-City CAN. We envision a future where every young person has access to opportunities they need to reach their full potential. I started organizing as a youth at the age of 12 after learning what inequity meant, and successfully along our community members and youth council, we got a skate park and a plaza. And the campaign that I work for started around that time. Since 2011, ITCH has been advocating for no-cost transit passes for youth opportunity passes, to connect them to opportunities they deserve, opportunities which costs should not be a barrier, and to create a next generation of transit riders. We know that when young people ride transit, they become adult transit riders, which leads to reduced traffic, greenhouse gas emissions, and setting us in the right path to meet our climate action goals. Transportation is the largest source of emission in our region, and our community has watched for decades as a regional system evolved with leaving our communities behind. To reach San Diego's climate goals, we need to build a world-class transit system. But any regional transportation vision that develops needs to be centered on the perspective of the communities that are impacted the most. Youth opportunity passes, no-cost transit passes for youth, are exact type of a community-driven solution that we need to put forward and achieve an equitable, prosperous, zero-carbon future for everyone. Transportation justice is essential to get us off fossil fuels, entirely achieving a zero-carbon future that will provide better air quality for San Diegans. In November, San Diego has a unique position to invest in transportation system, not only for our communities that depend on public transit, but also to create a choice in San Diego, alternative to driving. If we don't act now, we will have to wait, and it will be too late to reduce our traffic and to react. Traffic will be getting worse, and we'll be further behind on meeting our regional goals to stop climate change. Next week, this is our last chance to advocate for funding at the MTS board meeting for Youth Opportunity Passes 24 and under. So please see me after if you want to come and learn more about that. This year's CAPS report card highlights the cities are failing to implement real transportation choices. And moving forward, it is absolutely critical that working for class and communities of color, we are putting them in those conversations and prioritizing their needs. Thank you for being here today, and I would like to turn it over to Rick from Unite Here, Local 330.
Good morning. My name is Rick Bates with Unite Here, Local 30. We are a labor union representing more than 6,000 hardworking hotel and hospitality workers throughout San Diego County. As a diverse union comprised largely of women and immigrants, we recognize that we are in a climate crisis because many of our members live in the frontline communities that are most impacted. As the climate crisis intensifies, economic policies continue to exacerbate income inequality, and low-income communities of color continue to suffer disproportionately from climate change impacts, dirty air, and dirty water. We have been sold a false choice between good jobs and a clean environment, and watched in terror as economic inequality and the climate crisis has worsened. But the urgency demanded by the climate crisis presents us with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to not only shift our political and economic systems, but to shift our paradigm. What will it take to reach a zero-carbon future? It will require us to get off fossil fuels entirely. And we must do that in a way that ensures a just transition for workers and frontline communities. This will require investments to retain and create good jobs, provide workforce education and training, and provide transition guarantees to ensure that workers and their families are not adversely impacted or affected. This year's CAP report card shows that we need broader regional collaboration to achieve overall climate goals. Let's break out of our silos to collaborate, secure funding, and ensure equitable implementation of climate strategies across the region. Through the San Diego Green New Deal, we can set a regional vision for climate action that ensures a just transition and centers communities of concern. Thank you for being here today, and now I'll turn it over to Melissa Elder from the Sunrise Movement.
Thank you. My name is Melissa Elder. I am with the Sunrise Movement San Diego, a youth-led organization mobilizing to make climate an urgent priority across America for the health and well-being of all people. The climate crisis is an existential crisis, not only to our way of life, but life itself, and we must address this. We must have a call to action to address this issue. Moreover, the communities that have contributed the least to this climate crisis are experiencing the first and worst impacts. This year's CAP report card shows that even though cities are making an effort to move on climate, no one is charting a course to a post-carbon future. We need to mobilize at every level to reach zero carbon, and we can do this in a way that makes our lives better, brighter, and more equitable. The Green New Deal is the only plan put forward to address the interwoven crisis of the climate catastrophe, economic injustice, inequality, and racism at a scale that scientists and justice demand. It's not going to be easy, and we need real teeth to implement local climate action plans and hold our local governments accountable. No more delays, no more moving the line. We need to transform our regional transportation system, support workforce development with good, high-paying union jobs, and address our region's resilience to the climate crisis. This means building political will at the ground level, and also that California has an opportunity to lead on climate by passing a zero carbon state law that solidifies our commitment to carbon neutrality. By aligning our climate laws with climate science, we can build a roadmap to zero carbon that is sustainable, equitable, and prosperous. We want to create a livable future for all. With that, I'd like to introduce Maria Mohammed with I Am My Brother's Keeper. Thank you.
My name is Maria Mohammed with I Am My Brother's Keeper, where our mission is to reconnect our community members to the planet and each other. One of the ways in which we do this is through environmental literacy workforce development training. We create career pathways into the green-collar workforce, and we help to develop social green enterprises with community members with high school diplomas or less. I also co-founded the San Diego Urban Sustainability Coalition, whose goal is to empower residents by connecting them to resources they need to gain access and become change makers that their community needs and deserves, with sustainability-related education, jobs, social enterprises, and resources like solar panels, electric vehicles, social enterprises, and funding. The San Diego Sustainability Urban Coalition, among other things, has launched a community initiative called the Climate Ambassadors for Environmental Justice. This allows participants to learn about the social inequities in their communities and learn how to become community leaders and organizers to correct those wrongs. The Sustainability Urban Coalition, through the leadership of the city and the Climate Action Campaign and other community coalition members, are proud to say that we have certified 7 climate ambassadors in the 4th District, 8 altogether, and 1 being as young as 11 years old. Our young people were paid for their time for this training, as they should be, and they are eager to get to work toward environmental justice and equity. The San Diego Urban Sustainability Coalition has also identified an opportunity in mobile home parks that will weatherize and teach resiliency to mobile home owners. We'll be training the homeowners in the park to do energy audits, to do energy resiliency, and also to install solar. This will be so that they'll be able to gain workforce training, savings on their utility bills, and understand how they fit into the fight to stop climate change. This year's CAP report card shows that we have a long way to go to implement all the strategies needed to meet local and state climate targets, and that no city within our region is on course to reach zero carbon. This challenge can be a significant opportunity for many of the members of our community, a chance to make our local economy work for those who have been historically left behind. Activating communities of concern and tapping into our existing sustainability practices means that we can win in this green economy and that we can be a part of the solution to the biggest crisis facing us all, which is climate change. This is the only way to reach zero carbon in the San Diego region while building a just society with an economy that works for all. Thank you for being here today. Not sure who I'm bringing up next, but somebody come on in. Malika, come on, Malika.
Okay. I just want to thank all of our speakers and all of the community members who came out today to take a stand for bold climate action. Thank you so much.